So this is a 2011 Tacoma with the brush guard. The last 2011 Tacoma I had, a deer jumped out at me in front of me at doing 65 on the highway and just took out the whole crumple zone here, and actually somehow took out the headlamp there too, grill, the whole 9 yards. I did have a fish holder originally on the bumper on the last truck, which I left there exactly for the deer, and I think it probably allowed the deer to just kind of glance off instead of going up into the windshield, which is the most dangerous part. So I definitely wanted to put another guard on the front. The deer here in Jersey are just out of control. This one, so it's a brush guard, 2011 Tacoma, probably fits a lot of other Toyota trucks. There's two videos. One actually seems like it's from the manufacturer, and I'll leave that link in the description. And then there's another one that's an older video, different product, but exactly the same components. So using those two videos, which are not very good in terms of step-by-step assembly, they're both very quick and skip over a lot of like important details. But using those, you can really kind of figure it out. So what I did was I assembled this unit on the ground. These are rubber here, and you can kind of put it down on its face and build it on the ground. I think the first one is this bar, and there's, I guess they're called like button bolts. They have kind of like a button head with a lock nut. And the hardware is also very like critical too. Luckily, the first video from the manufacturer kind of goes through like which hardware goes where, and you can kind of line everything up. But in terms of like where to put the lock washers, I do have, let's see, 6 lock washers left over. I also had to use my own washers in some places, just 2 of them. So you may need to get some extra hardware here and there. I think those 6 could go here, but in the manufacturer video, they're not using them, and they're using these nylon washers instead, nuts. So here are the 2 places I need to use my own washers. But yeah, let me keep going through it. So you put that piece, and these center pieces, they flare out. So you want them to flare out. Put that piece on, then you put this piece on, and when you do it, this larger flared part, there's a smaller flared part goes in the back, and these are secured with these ones, and inside are interestingly not using the lock washers, so it's just the normal washers for that. Some of these things I had to actually take it back apart again because I wanted to use the hardware to spec from that video. So I guess I could put lock washers on here, but they didn't in the video. They just used normal washers. So really the only place where the lock washers are going are down here, here, so kind of like the mounting points, and then the lock washers on here. So, but the rest of them for the assembly components, so like this guy, oh, this was interesting. There was a lock washer that they did want you to put underneath this one. So then you would put this bar in. So 1, 2, 3 with the flare out, right? And then kind of put these guys on. And the only instruction that came with this was a note that said, leave these loose or put a spacer in for an alignment. So I actually had to use my own washer to put a spacer behind just this one to flare these out enough because they were hitting the headlamp. So you can kind of tighten those up loosely. The rest of them you can tighten. I just tighten them up pretty snugly to get kind of the frame centered. So then put these on. I did have to, again, I had to put a spacer on that part there to flare it out, but it's totally fine. You're getting the clearance you need here. So once that's done, the mounting points to the frame, the first thing I did was to access these this is like the actual bumper. Like this is called the fascia, and that's like this metal part is the actual bumper. So there's 1, 2, 3. Those are stock bolts. I did have to use heat to take them off. They're like aluminum hardware. So just a note on that. There's a lot of rust on this truck. But yeah, use some heat. Don't break those. Or strip them. They're kind of like aluminum nuts. So this kind of like Y piece, kind of fishbone thing, attaches 1, 2, 3, and then a long center bolt that goes through the frame. It was nice. I didn't have to disconnect this. I didn't know how I was going to do that. It was just so rusted. But yeah, those came out okay with just a little bit of propane heat, essentially. And you can kind of I didn't tighten them too hard. I just kind of laid them in here. That was that. Same thing on the other side. I'll just give you, might as well just show you. Yeah, 1, 2, and the third one is there. You can see it. And then the nice thing, so then you have the unit, you can put it like right, kind of like a sled, like right in front, and then just like put 1 bolt in on the bottom, each point, and then you can kind of just like lift the whole thing up in. So it's like kind of like this, you hook it in, and then you just curl it up. The other mounting point that you need to use is these guys. So I'll kind of show how those were hooked up. So the S kind of goes like this, out and up. On the second video, you see how these are mounted. How the guy was showing how he did it. Another washer that was missing. But what you do is you drop in these, they're bolts, but they have like a metal plate on the top. So I dropped those in. Basically, if you can feed them in through the top here, and it just drops down in there. So it's a hole. Well, there's no other holes, but this radiator support here, you can feed that. It's got like a block on the back of the bolt, and just feed it through, and it sticks down. And then I've got not sure if I have a lock washer on there, but I probably do. But yeah, it just gives the front end like a little bit of like forward stability. It seems like if it hit, it would really crush the radiator, ironically enough, from those points. Also here, very tight clearance with that AC line, so I just put rubber hose around that point just to keep them from hitting each other. Obviously I've got a little AC leak. My other 2011 had the same problem. Probably O-ring. But yeah, there was clearance there, so I just didn't want that line to vibrate. So it does, you know, it does fit pretty well, I have to say. So S out and up. And it seemed like when I was installing it, I had to pull this out. So I'm like, these are all the way forward, right? It's, well, this is the bracket, but this part is all the way forward. So I had to pull this out and push that back to kind of get it to be as upright as possible. This is definitely like slanted down, but I'll show you from the side. It doesn't look too bad. It's pretty good, pretty well up and down. Yeah. So it does take some time to do it. Obviously, you know, second time around it'd be a lot faster. But what I did, you know, build this part on the ground, put your brackets up in there, and then basically just like hook in the bottom and fold it up, and then tighten it up, and then I had to use a spacer just on that back one to just flare these out a little bit. But it doesn't seem like they're any wider than the truck, so that's pretty good. And I think even with these aftermarket LED headlamps, I think the visions should still be pretty good too. So good luck out there, DIY. Yeah, I paid $180 for this thing on eBay. Like, the guy who was doing some work here on the neighbor's house, he was like, "Oh, I just sold one of those. My brother just got rid of his truck. Yeah, he wanted like $400 for it." I'm like, okay, well, I bought this new for $180. So, yeah, I mean, I'll probably have some trouble like parking in New York, because like with my trailer hitch that I just don't take off, the ball, it's been really tight as is, but like, so those extra 4 inches are going to be a little bit tough, but ounce of prevention, you know, can mean a lot with these things. I was happy I had that fishing rod holder on there when I hit the last deer. And driving home the other night from a gig at 3 a.m, there was just a deer just hanging out on the side of the road. So I'd really been looking at these all year. This one arrived a few months ago. Finally found some time to get it done, and yeah, I think it looks pretty good. It seems super solid, you know. Again, just kind of pulling on it. Yeah, ain't going nowhere. And I'll probably check everything again, tighten everything up in a few weeks after it shakes out a little bit, flexes with the car. But hopefully, you know, we'll be safe out there towing the trailer through the woods, you know, this Thanksgiving.